I actually didn't have to audition. I was with Central Casting because the dancers were all in Central at that time. So I went in, and became a member of Central Casting. And they sent me on a dance interview for an Elvis Presley movie called Clam Bake, which was at Disney. And I got that. And Elvis loved having the same people around all the time. He felt very secure that way. And I ended up being one of his 5 dancers and did 15 movies with him.
15 movies. So Clam Bake comes along. What did you specifically have to do to get the part?
Just dance. They would have like groups of girls dancing on the beach and dancing, so we just got to, dance and do that kind of stuff. And it led, I don't know actually how it happened, but whenever the second one was, I got to do that one, and pretty soon I was doing all of them. And like I said, he liked having the same people around all the time. So he felt very secure, and half the time, we didn't even go break for lunch. He would have food brought in, and we'd all sit on the floor and sing songs, and he'd play the guitar, play the piano. We would go to, when we were shooting at MGM, which we shot a lot at, we would go, when we weren't shooting, we would go over to Veterans Hospital to the park and play touch football until everybody found out we were there, and then we couldn't go there anymore. At MGM, I would walk into the rehearsal halls and sit and watch him, rehearse songs and stuff with Joe Esposito and Red Horton, and my God, the guys were always there.
This was his gang.
His gang, yeah. His mafia.
Right.
We'd go up to the house in Bel Air and play games, and it was just like I was one of the guys. It was just fun.
Since you had that rare window into being in Elvis's circle, literally, is there anything you can think of that would surprise people who have been fans their entire lives about him?
Like I said, he was very shy, and he liked having the same people around. And I know what happened to him in later life, when he went back to, working in Vegas and doing all of that. And I probably shouldn't say it, but I think the Colonel had a lot to do with that. And I remember when we were shooting Change of Habit, which was the last feature that he actually did. And we were at the back lot of Universal, and it was winter, and we were dancing out in the streets, and it was freezing. I think that's the first time I ever saw him pick up a drink. They brought us apricot brandy because it was warm, and he took a sip of that. It was the first time I'd ever seen him drink anything like that, ever. And he just was such a good guy, There's actually a picture on my wall that says, "Nice working with you, kid." That I'd never asked him for anything, and when we wrapped that show, everybody was asking for a picture or autographs or stuff, and I actually went up and I said, "Can I have one too?" And he went. That's what he gave me that, and he gave me an album. I have one of his albums that he gave me that night. But you just didn't ask for stuff, and you didn't have a cell phone, so you didn't take pictures. It just, you look back at it and you go, God, I wish I had pictures, but you just didn't do that in those days.